Now recording.
Hey, welcome to the newest edition of the Unfiltered Dirty Air podcast. We got a full house tonight. We got 4 of us in here. Theme, your host.
Ryan, your co-host, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, something bullshit like that. And then got Brandon Fetterplace with us tonight. And then we got fuckhead Tommy Reynolds down there in the bottom.
I would probably
Yes,
help if I
sir.
pushed a button. What's up?
I just introduced you.
Oh, thank
You
you,
can say
sir.
hi.
Howdy.
So we didn't have a lot to talk about. I mean, we had a little bit to talk about from Sunday and stuff like that. We got over with Ignition, over an hour ago?
Just about.
Over an hour ago.
3 hours ago, but yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think we got about an hour and a half worth of content out of that. So
I think the damn general chat is still going.
Yeah.
yeah, luckily 3 out of the 4 of us got to sit in it on the hauler for that. So we got a front row seat to all that went on. But do we want to backtrack and then work our way to Ignition?
Yes.
Okay. So Sunday. Do you want to backtrack to the week before Sunday about that stuff that happened, or
No.
we staying away from it? Okay. So
Well,
we're gonna
we'll talk
backtrack.
about it, but yeah, not. We'll talk
Let's
about
go-
Richmond first.
Yeah, let's go to Richmond. All right. So, goddamn, David Wright won Richmond. Son of a billion. We
Yeah.
did not need that, Ryan.
Fucking
No,
David.
we did not. But Dustin Painter gave up his playoff spot. Scheduling not gonna let him run full time, so that did open up another spot. So technically, me and Feem are in.
Emma's in
Emma's
and
in-
Briley.
Well, Briley's right outside of the cut line, so
Okay.
Emma is 10 points ahead of Briley. Briley is 10 points back. So yeah, it's a close battle for 16th. That puts me about 57, I think, or 56 points ahead of the cutoff line. So I feel a little bit better now. But it's still, I mean, with Michigan, that's not really a plate track, but it feels like a plate track, especially with the Cup cars. So anybody could win that one. Then, of course, the 2 road courses. Hopefully Aiden comes out and gets one of those wins. Hopefully, maybe Reynolds or Jeremy comes back and gets another one of those wins. But Daytona is kind of the wild card at this point.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're over there saying that. I'm saying, hey, go Emma, get one of them wins.
I mean
That way
that
we can have 3 line power cars.
I need
Well,
Emma to stay right where she's at.
Yeah, for Feemster's sake,
Well, she's already
no, she's not. She is not in. She's 16th, only
Oh,
10 points ahead of Briley, so she is right there on the line. So obviously we know she'll be very, very good at the 2 road courses, Indy Road Course and Watkins Glen.
So,
So-
Tommy, we need you just to do what you do at road courses. Just 2 more times.
Well,
take
here's the thing.
the punishments and
Like
the
get Reynolds
criticism.
over here.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
And-
Me and Emma did talk just a little bit ago, and I think we're on equal terms again. So I told her I would help her in
I just throw that all out the window. Help a brother out.
Oh no.
Stab her in the back. Okay, and take one.
I told her that I would help her when I could. But again, I have teammates to also worry about. So
Yeah. No, I get
Um,
that shit.
but,
Emma,
yeah.
she's got a good chance of taking one. Really,
she's
does.
got Indy Road, and she's got Watkins. If Daniel doesn't snag one of them, she will snag one of them.
So
So
how many races is Aiden allowed to do still?
I
One.
think he has one more.
He's got one more. Yeah, so it'll either. I would assume he'll probably run Watkins Glen. I don't know that for sure, but
I think I He might run it, but I know he likes the track. So
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why any part time would want to jump in at Indy. That road course is straight fucking garbage.
it's so slick,
It's
and
awful.
the cars there. Like the next gen is good in the low speed corners, but that track has so many sweeping corners that are so quick. It's not even fun.
Well, it's they run the fucking track backwards anyway. It's so stupid. Like I don't get that there. Let's
Yeah.
see. John
So-
Smill, free Tommy Reynolds. He is free.
Hell yeah, free
Yeah.
Tommy Reynolds.
Yeah,
Fuck
he's been
that.
free for 3 weeks. I don't know why
Yeah,
people keep saying that. And he's been free for a long time, so I don't I don't know. Yeah, I mean, well, we were talking about A squared Richmond, and then we got to talking about points. But yeah, I mean, A squared Richmond,
I forgot about that.
Reynolds was in a predicament, and
Yeah, definitely a fucking predicament. I'll tell you that much.
I'm just reading.
Yeah.
I'm just reading my phone. I'm gonna stay out of it.
Actually, let's dive into that. So
Oh,
tell
let's do.
let's figure this out. So I I'm not a big fan of David Wright's.
No,
I
no
haven't
kidding,
been.
huh?
I haven't been for a while, and he's not a big fan of mine. But um, hey, he was wheeling that fucking thing at
Yeah, it
Richmond.
was.
He was doing really good. So Reynolds, I mean, what is your take on what had happened? How do you go ahead and let us know how you feel?
I think you know how I felt.
He didn't even do a
I
post race interview.
no,
tells you
I
how he
was
felt.
pissed, and I told Carmen after um the broadcast. I told her that if I ran, or not if I ran, if I did that interview, I probably would have said some things that I would have regretted. So I decided not to do one, and I took 20 minutes to cool off, and then I came back, and yeah, so that happened. But I mean, I don't know. It's pretty cut and clear what happened on the last lap there. I mean, he ran through 3 fucking guys. He ran through Purnell. Me and Purnell were gonna have a great fucking fight to the end, and he ran through 3 guys to get to me. So I mean, again, I said this in chat. I'm gonna run how people run now, and I'm gonna move people out of the fucking way like I did before. So I mean, it's whatever. But if he's not getting penalized for it, then I'm not getting penalized for it. So
Fair
That
enough.
is really surprising. There's actually hasn't been that many penalties. I mean, I don't. Is that
well,
because
considering I think David Wright had 3 penalties, or at least maybe like 2 race suspensions before going into that race. So
Yeah, David Wright's definitely been suspended before.
yeah, so what a fucking surprise.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean I mean everybody has their own opinion, and unfortunately I get the shaft no matter whatever league, and whether it's Fridays or Saturdays or Sundays or Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Thursdays or Fridays or Saturdays. You know, it's whatever call is made is a wrong call, and I mean, me and Reynolds really haven't talked about it much. My shirt used to say ARCs, but the C and the S fell off, so blame
um
Jacket's daughter for that. But anyway,
but
yeah, I mean, me and Reynolds haven't really talked about it. It's no matter what I do, it's a shitty. I get the shitty end of the stick. We go by. Obviously, we look at replays. We look at everything. We look at everything that happens, and we did the same thing with Chicago Street Course. We did the same thing with Richmond. We
and
do
you know what? I get it, and I didn't
Yeah.
make that big of a deal because again, it's racing, but like I don't know. It was just hard to see. I mean, I led every lap but the last one, won both stages by fucking 3 seconds, and had the fastest lap. I mean, I don't know how much more I could fucking do to win a race, but
what happened to your car? I mean, that's what I was trying to figure out. So, what did you do to blow a 3-second lead? Like, what were you doing?
that last stage, I ended up pushing too early because I saw Purnell coming. So I started pushing, and when I started pushing, I blew my shit off.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was gonna go green to the end. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to run it out now. And I was planning to pit if it did stay green. I was planning to pit on lap 165 for uh, right tires, and that was it. I was literally going to get right tires, go down pit road, and I was going to try and catch the field like I did in the spring. But I didn't think it was going to stay green just because of how stupid everybody was, especially in those last 20 laps you saw with Wright wrecking half the field to get to us. So, I mean,
What
I
just
don't know.
happened to my shit?
Oh, it's
Well,
back now.
Yeah, you're
I
good
What
now.
the?
It looked like you were a ghost there for a second.
Nice.
But yeah,
Hang
I
on.
mean, Feemster's struggling. Give him a second. He turned his he paid his
Been a
power
long time.
bill. We're back now.
Yeah, we're that was weird.
We actually have 11 viewers, which is crazy. That we
What
have
were you saying,
11
Fetter Place?
viewers at 12 a.m.
So, I mean, honestly, I mean, I was cool where I was running. I seen you had a nice lead, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to catch him. I feel like I've minimized your points gain on me at least a little bit. And, I was just going to do what I could do, finish top 5. I finished in the points in all the stages. And I was like, okay, I'm pretty good. And then all of a sudden I seen Wanzing behind me. I'm like, I hopped on the radio and asked Tom, where the hell did he come from? And Tom was like, oh, yeah, he passed me a little bit ago. I said, thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Wish you'd told
Yeah.
me that like 10 laps ago. That'd been kind of cool.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, and then all of a sudden we started reeling you in, and I was not expecting it. And like I said, I had no intention of even thinking I could, finish in the top 3. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you guys started racing one another, and I said, oh, it's about to get real. Here we go. And, I don't know. It's my thing is David Wright, he was going to do what he needed to do to win that race. And I feel like everyone knows that. Everyone knew that either Austin or David was going to do what they needed to do to win that race. And if that
Yeah.
meant moving you out of the way, they were going to do that.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't feel the same way about this race as I did Chicago Street Course. And I know that's probably not something that a lot of people think is accurate, but I just don't. Short track racing, if you're coming to the last lap, last corner, a little nudge, that's not too bad. But when you blatantly drive through somebody in the last corner, I feel like that's different. I didn't think that he drove through you, but of course I'm also not race control.
Well,
So
I'd like to jump in too, and I agree with you completely. Two differences. And everybody's saying, "Oh, it was the same move." If y'all think those two races were the same move, and Reynolds, I know you probably disagree with me, and that's fine. We're here to hash it out, And Seth wants to join in too, so Feemster, I don't know if you can get him an invite. We'll get his ass in here too, but
invite everybody. Fuck it.
I mean, hell yeah, we'll get everybody in here. But to me, the Chicago race and the Richmond race were not the same move. And again, people can say, well, you're dumb. You're stupid. Well, I am. I've been stupid for 31 years. And I will continue to be stupid for the next 31 years. But those two races were not the same move. First of all, let's set up the circumstances, okay? Chicago Street Course. Emma has no wins. Reynolds, you got 5. All right. Well, you had 4 before you did
I
that.
had 5.
No, you had 4 before you wrecked Emma. And then you got
Right.
5.
I think I had 5.
No, you got 5 now. You had 4
would have
before you
6,
wrecked
Tom.
Emma, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
you got
never mind.
5. Yeah, don't come at me, boy, because you ain't gonna win that fight. I'm gonna tell you
My
right
bad.
now. Anyway, it's a, and again, this is a debate that could go on all night long, but you have somebody that has 0 wins versus somebody that has 4 wins. And the replay is what gets me. The replay is so bad. I wasn't even at home. I was in Michigan. I was with Kinsey, and I was in that race. And I watched it, and it was like, oh man, that looks bad. That looks really bad. And then you get, you get you go to Richmond, okay? Now it's flipped, okay? Now the 5 win drivers up front and the 0 win drivers in second, okay? And does he drive through you? No. No. He bumps you. All right? He bumps you, and as old Cole Trickle's crew chief said, rubbin's racing. And again, me and Reynolds, we have not talked about this. I have not talked to him since the Richmond race when we did not penalize David Wright. I felt like what David Wright did was he did not drive through Tommy Reynolds, and we got damn 11 people watching right now, so that's like a world record for this podcast right now. So y'all can put there's a bunch of people that have already put their comments in there, but how do you put yourself in my shoes as a head admin of a series, and you see Tommy Reynolds do what he did to Emma, and then you see at Richmond what David Wright did to Tommy Reynolds. What do you do? What is the right call, or is there a right call? I would say no one can answer that, because I feel like the call is, no matter whatever you call as a head admin of a league, it's going to be frowned upon by certain people. So we had to just go with what we had, which was replay footage of Chicago and Richmond, and we made the call that we felt like was right. And was it right? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah.
We don't know. But at the end of the day, you put everybody that's involved in the situations, and you look at their wins, you look at their position and points, you look at everything involved and the severity of what happened on track. I feel like we made the right decision. I'm not going to back down from the decision that we made. We're not going to say we didn't make the right decision. We did. We made the right decision. We made the right call. And will there be people that will disagree with that? Absolutely. But we made the call. We made that decision, and we went with it. Does Reynolds agree with it? Probably not. But he's a race car driver, for fuck's sake. I mean,
Let me
never
say
is.
a couple things.
Go for it.
Me and Emma both agreed that the events of Chicago were blown way out of proportion. Both sides. Doesn't fucking matter.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2. Fuck. I had everything set up and now I just forgot it. Go
Rookie.
figure.
Yeah.
If you're going from the driver's perspective, if you see what I saw on the last lap, I said this in the hauler, and Ryan wasn't fucking happy with me when I said it. She drives through that fast ass right-hander 10 miles an hour faster than she had the entire race. Granted, I smacked the wall, but I understeer into that wall and smack it. She is driving her ass off and intentionally smacks the wall to try and get to me. That's what I saw. That's what I saw, and that's how I saw it in the moment. When I have my teammates in the chat and saying, oh yeah, she just fucking absolutely sent your ass 2 fucking corners from the finish, hell yeah, I'm going to drive through her shit to get to that fucking finish line first. Now, the
Fair
difference between that and Richmond, what I did was shown as a moment that was like an act of terrorism against the United States. What happened in Richmond was shown as, oh yeah, fuck the bad guy. Let's go, David Wright. You gotta fucking win. That's what it looks like to me.
I agree.
Both scenarios. Mine was not malicious. It like I did hit her, but I didn't mean for the events afterwards to be blown out of proportion. In both scenarios, it's just a difference of me knowing the hit is coming and locking it up, and Emma being unprepared for the hit and spinning and then locking it up. There is the only difference between those two scenarios, in my opinion.
I agree completely. And again, I even said it in the Discord, and I even think I said it on one of these podcasts a couple times back, that what happened after the Chicago Street Course was absolutely ridiculous. I am not okay with what people said to you as a individual, as a fake race car driver. I will never be okay with that. That is just it blows my mind that people stoop that low. But unfortunately, that sets up the next set of events at Richmond, which, again, yes, you got bumped out of the way for the win. Did you get wrecked? No. You still finished third. You still finished 7 positions better than I did. I finished 10th. So you still had a way better race than I did. But I agree that it was previous things that happened outside of the racetrack, outside of the fake racetrack, that escalated Richmond to an even higher place that it really should have been, if that makes sense. I feel like Richmond would have been a great race, a great finish, if Chicago Street Course did not happen the previous 2 or 3 weeks or whatever it was. And that, I feel like, also put a lot of pressure on me and my admin team to say, well, what are you going to do now? You did this to so and so back at Chicago. What are you gonna do now? And
This is what I also said. This is what I was going to say earlier. In your guys' scenario, for both situations, there is no good outcome, whatever way you guys take it. It doesn't matter. There will be 0 sides happy with whatever outcome you guys decide.
Yeah.
But with Richmond, the end of the race wasn't blown out of proportion like it was Chicago, but it was to like push me out of the way to have no penalty. Like that's kind of how I felt.
Oh, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, if any race car driver, anybody, it doesn't matter if it's real or fake racing, if you're dominant and you get moved out of the way on the last lap, you should be pissed. I mean, that's just how it is, or else you shouldn't be there racing. But does it warrant a penalty? I don't know. Like I said, not the hugest fan of his. However, I didn't see it. I mean, I was right there behind you guys, and I was like, "Oh, me got him," and I was waiting for a retaliation. You stayed up high, so I was like, "Well, hey, I want this spot." So, I mean, I don't know. I completely understand how you feel though, because I would feel the same way.
I would feel the same way as well if I were Reynolds, but also I think all of us have to sit here and think all of us would have done what Reynolds did, and all of us would have done what David Wright did.
I would not have done what Reynolds did. I would have done what David Wright did.
Yes.
I would not have done what Reynolds did.
At Richmond, when Reynolds threw a block on the last slap.
Oh, I thought you were
Okay.
talking about.
All right. That's another thing. That's
Here we go.
fucking
Welcome to the show,
bullshit.
Seth.
That's fucking bullshit. I did
That's
not
a-
block shit. That is
Tommy.
the same. I had
Tommy.
moved over half a lane, and anybody says that I had blocked somebody is complete bullshit. He ran my shit over.
You thought about it. Yes, he did. But you thought about throwing a block. There's a reason why your car moved half a lane. Now you thought better of it, but your car just didn't magically move half a lane.
Mhm.
Okay.
I
But there's a
think
difference. He pushed my ass through my fucking chest going into the final fucking corner. Like,
Yes,
it's.
Tommy, I dumped your shit too for a win.
You know what, Seth? Wait till fucking Michigan, bud. You and David Wright are gonna get the same fucking treatment.
I hope all y'all wreck
That's
each
gonna
other
look
so I can
bad.
finish in 5th or
Well, that's gonna
6th.
look really bad if you got my shit at Michigan.
It's gonna look horrible if I have an accident with you.
I mean, at the end of
No,
the day, it's David Wright again. He had to get in the look. If I was in David Wright's position, I would have did the same thing. I ain't gonna lie.
Yep.
I would have
Yep.
did the exact same
now
thing.
I don't.
I would not have wrecked you,
I-
and David Wright did not wreck you. He bumped you, and he moved you out of the way. You still finished 3rd, and I know it sucks for you. It does. It sucks. And trust me,
I'll be pissed
if I
off
was
too.
leading, I don't lead races, Tommy Reynolds. I know that's hard to believe, but I don't lead races, so I don't know how you feel, But if I was
You
in your,
guys would have been really pissed if you saw what I was planning on doing. I knew he was gonna dump my shit, and that's of course why I kind of moved down a little bit. I thought about going into 5th gear and fucking sending that bitch around the entire turn 3, turn 4 wall because I knew it
Well,
was
I'm
coming.
glad you didn't because you
I
saved us a lot of sleep that night. Man.
I talked about it in the hauler well, I don't even know if we were in the hauler, but we were reviewing. And I said that if I was you coming out of turn 2, I would have went straight to the inside, made him pass you on the outside. And if he passed you on the outside, then good for him. But I would have never let him have the
If
opportunity
he,
to get me on the inside. I would have went straight to
if
the
he would have
inside.
done that, he was gonna do what he did regardless. He knew he
Yeah,
It
but
doesn't matter if I'm underneath the yellow, he's still gonna follow me all the way down there.
and I'll agree with Reynolds that I don't appreciate how David got there, but I would have done what he did. Now it took about 2 or 3 other guys out of contention, but I would have done exactly what he did. And I like David, but uh, I don't have any issues with him. Race with him in OAP, good guy, but you know, yeah, I'll leave it at that. I got that out on Sunday, but you know,
Again,
yeah.
if I am racing him at Michigan, it's not gonna fucking be great. I'll say that much. I will do what I did to fucking Mulkey this race. I will send his ass to the fucking grass to try and pass me. So
fun racing for second, but
yeah, well, suck my, you know what, Seth.
Well, fuck Richmond. That's all I gotta say. Oh, and Lighter, you're up, man. I spun you 2 weeks ago. You spun me last week. Your turn.
There you go.
We'll keep trading punches here, bud.
Fuck the 27.
I
Fuck.
mean, hell, I was happy. Well, not happy, but I was better off than I thought I was going to be. I mean, hell, I only lost 5 points to you, so
Yeah,
all right.
exactly.
I still think Reynolds and Mulkey need to change numbers.
I told Mulkey I thought about it. If I'm gonna change numbers before the end of the season, it's probably gonna be to the 5, if anything. But I don't think I'm gonna do that. So
Wait, isn't the 5 taken now? I
don't think
thought
so.
Jacket was getting it.
50.
Isn't Jack?
Jacket was 50.
50.
Yeah, anything that ends in 5, I'm dumping. 25, 5, or anything
and
that
God,
2 minus 7 is
I'm
5. So the 27, dumping. I've had it with 27s and 25s. I'm done with the 27s and 25s.
That's somebody who we need to look out for
25.
that.
He's been pretty good lately.
Yeah, and you know what? You know who won in the 25 and another 2.5 or 2 mile D-shaped oval was fucking Auto Club, and that was Daniel Michel. So he's probably gonna come out here and Kyle Larson this motherfucker and win Michigan now.
Oh,
If it's up to me.
you know, there was this
Holy
team
shit.
that also ran second to him that led the most laps and chokes, but we're not going to talk about that. But anyway,
Well, that was with paid setups, and now that we can't run those anymore, everybody has fucking shit-ass iRacing setups. So
Here we go.
The setup this
Yeah.
week isn't that bad. But
yeah,
It's really not bad.
If we want to get started with that shit, not really.
Well,
don't.
I mean, so Richmond, yeah. So we touched on what happened there. What about tonight? Evidently, it was pretty spicy in the
Oh shit!
nation race.
How about hey Smeal? You're in here.
I am.
You wanna start this conversation off?
Not really. As long as it's a better conversation than what we had in the Holler post race.
Well, see, this is where you can't care about anyone's feelings. You just gotta say what you gotta say, and then we're gonna we're gonna tell you if you're wrong or not. So
the race was great. I mean, the overall product that we put on was great. The post race bullshit. I mean, it is what it is when you've got one team that likes to bend the rules and throw their shit around that they do no wrong and everyone else is wrong. Sorry, Tommy, to lump you in with that, but
you didn't mention what team. So for those that don't know, what team are you talking about?
that's Bandit fucking Racing.
There we go.
Bandit Racing every week.
Fucking
Bandit Racing at it again.
Bandit Racing at it again.
To be fair, Tommy Reynolds was ass tonight, so I just like to throw that out there.
He was.
I went blowing by Tommy after the pit stop, and I'm like, "What's going on? Like, why?"
After
15th, yeah, you were ass tonight.
after
fucking garbage, bro.
All right, well, here, let's talk about this now. I was following what Moldy was doing strategy-wise, and it didn't work out, and I kind of second-guessed it. I was like, man, I should really just race and see how it goes, because I knew at the first stage I'll see what I have, but I saved, and then I was back in the pack because I got a hold because of the whole fuel fiasco, and then I left hooked somebody on the front stretch on accident. And,
that was bad.
Quotation accident.
I swear on everything that I own, it was not on purpose. I had no reason to wreck him.
I watched that.
It was netcode. I will give you that.
It did look.
I will give you that. It was a little bit of netcode, but yeah, that was. It looked rough.
Hold on. So what fuel fiasco?
Oh god.
The fuel fiasco. Ultimately, there's two things that stem from this. The start of the season when we did race control, we had been closing pit road 2 laps to the end of the stage. It's not something we've really been doing since we lost our full-time race control when Kent's availability changed. And when, it's kind of hard for us to do that when we're in the car. So I, ironically, am a math teacher and apparently can't fucking count. I thought I pit with 2 to the end of the stage and it was 1 to the end of the stage. So that caused an uproar to start. And then Moldy runs out of fuel and is well below pace speed coming to pit road. Keep in mind, this is after a situation that we had at Kansas where Moldy in the position, again, ran out of fuel at the end of the stage, blows by the pace car, keeps going, coasts all the way to pit road, takes his 40-second hold, still comes out like 5th or something. I don't remember. So it's the second instance with running out of fuel and doing something that is, in my view, borderline race manipulation. Blown by the pace car, not maintaining pace speed. 9 out of 10 of us are asking for an EOL when we're out of fuel. But I mean, that puts a lot of assumed respect and responsibility where places where it probably doesn't belong. So that was the fiasco that basically everything stemmed from 2 laps on track, and it just soiled what was an overall great race.
Yeah, I didn't see anything because obviously I was broadcasting, so that's what I love about broadcasting is I can't see anything. I don't know anything that's happening. I can't hear anybody. It's the best. Me and Withers were broadcasting. It was a great race from a broadcasting side of things. We had no idea what was going on. We had no idea what kind of drama was happening, and it was amazing to be in the booth not knowing what was happening, just calling the race. I think maybe one caution other than the stage break the entire race.
Tommy.
Yeah, it was yeah, that was because Withers accidentally wrecked Austin Mongold, but it was a great race from the broadcast. And then it's just a typical fucking night for me. After the race is over, everything's done, and then all fucking hell breaks loose. So, yeah, I don't even know if I should really voice my opinion. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I don't
Isn't that what
know.
this is for?
Yeah,
Do it.
probably.
Unfiltered dirty air.
I mean,
Mhm.
it
It's
is.
unfiltered radio. There's no hard feelings at the end of this.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so to me, and this is my opinion. Again, like I said, I was in the broadcast booth. The race was amazing, and then afterwards, it was like everybody was at each other's throats, and it's like, and I get it, to a certain extent, um, and you know, I, at the end of the day, I'm an owner. Me and Tom Sears are owners of ARCs, as y'all are well aware. I'm probably a little more involved than Tom Sears is, just because of his work schedule, and I don't have a whole lot going on right now. But I think that, and again, this is my personal opinion. I think that Noah should not have been penalized. I think that what he did at Kansas was definitely wrong. What he did tonight, I don't feel was wrong. I have been in that situation where I've run out of fuel before, and especially like if I have Feemster or if I have Boss or Kent, behind me, and I know I can make it to pit road. I'm not going to ask for a EOL. I'm going to try and make it to pit road, and you know, again, it's so hard sometimes to step into other people's shoes, and again, I'm kind of talking for Smil here, and Reynolds runs our endurance stuff, Seth helps me, Feemster runs OAP. I mean, Fetter Place, I know you've probably been involved in helping with leagues before as well, but
A little
at
bit.
at the end of the day, sometimes we fuck up. I have fucked up on Sunday nights, not gonna lie. I have made calls that weren't the right decision. And me personally, I feel like the Noah penalty was not the right decision. And again, Smil's in here, and we have not talked about this. So this is literally live happening as we talk about it. Do I feel like Smil got kind of bombarded in the hauler? Yes. But I have been bombarded in the hauler as well
True.
for Sunday night shit sometimes. And as an admin, sometimes you have to just say, "Hey, that wasn't the right call," and that's where I stand. Obviously, Fridays are Smil's baby, just like Sunday is my baby, and some people would agree with me, some people would agree with Smeal. And that's what's great about America is everyone can have their own opinion about anything. But I do agree that when you make a mistake or you have something that and again we're all trying to get the rule books perfect, and we're not there. We'll never be there. We'll never have the rule books perfect. But I feel like we're moving in the right direction through all of the Arc series. But I do agree. I do say that the penalty for Noah Belleville, in my opinion, not right, but
The only
not
way
my
that I could
series.
justify it was by also penalizing myself. So yes, Belleville got a 10-point penalty. I also issued myself a 10-point penalty. I think it was Andrews that him and I went back and forth quite a bit in the holler, and that was pretty much all it was, screaming back and forth.
Andrews came
but
hot.
ultimately, do I see where he's coming from? Yes. Technically, if we actually iRace and close pit road, it's a 40-second hold. I go a lap down. Caution immediately came out. I would have taken the wave around anyways and still been on the lead lap at the back of the field. So the end result was the same. But because that's not how it worked out at that point in time, the only thing that I felt was, yes, I took an EOL, the immediate caution that come out. What, Reynolds, you wrecked him a lap, 2 laps later?
Something like that.
So I immediately took the EOL, went to the back of the field, battle my shit back up, and then still, to basically be politically correct, penalize myself as well. Because it was either going to be nobody gets a penalty, or I set the precedence that me, myself, I am not above any, we're giving myself a penalty. I give it to both of us to where it's fair. I mean, I took everybody's feedback and did what I felt was right to set the bar. I can't wait to kind of adapt what you guys have put together for the A squared rules for next year, because there's going to be very minimal changes from A squared to ignition, so that Team Loophole can't keep finding ways to bitch about something.
Yeah, next year A Squared's rule book will be very, very, very good. Kent has been a huge help, and I know a lot of people, and again, this is a podcast where we just talk. We talk from the heart, and that's what I do. I mean, I'm, and we'll get to the setup thing here in a second, and I'll really talk from the heart. But a lot of people don't like the way that Matthew Kent races, and I don't like the way a lot of people race either in A squared. So, join the fucking crowd. But Matthew Kent,
Me too, Ryan.
but Matthew Kent,
Yeah.
outside of that race car, has been a huge help for ARCs. There's been a lot of people that have been a huge help to ARCs. I'm not trying to discredit anyone else that has been a huge help to ARCs. But Matthew Kent has helped me so much with basically building the rule book for 2024. He has put together a kind of a organization chart for ARCs. He has helped put together the ARCs awards, which we will be dropping here pretty soon for everybody to vote on. Matthew Kent is a very huge help to ARCs. Does he drive like an asshole? Maybe. Who else? I mean, fuck. So does everybody else in ARCs. We all drive like fucking assholes, especially on
We've all
Sunday
been called an
night.
asshole. We've
Yeah.
all been called an asshole at least once. I guarantee it. So
But the difference is the other people that drive like assholes, they go to sleep that night, but Matthew Kent doesn't. He goes and helps build the rule book. He helps, he helps ARCs as a whole. And again, I'm not trying to say that other admins don't. They do. They help their series, but I just personally want to thank Matthew Kent, not as a race car driver, because yes, he may drive like an ass, but so does everyone else. But when he's out of that race car, he helps A Squared. He helps ARCS. He puts effort in where other people don't. He helped Ignition for a while until his schedule would not allow it. He has helped SNS when his schedule would allow it. He has been there, like he has helped, and that's something you can't really find anymore. I know I struggle with it in ARCS. I mean, I can't, it's hard for me to find help, even on Sundays. I mean, my help would, Jeremy's, I don't know what the hell he's chasing, but I hope he finds it. But I mean, hell, he's been gone for months now.
It must be some damn fine pussy, because he's been gone. I'm telling you
Well,
what.
I wasn't gonna say that, but I'm glad you did. But yeah, I mean, just I don't even know where I was headed with this fucking statement. But anyway, yes, Kent may drive like an ass, but again, like we all drive like assholes sometimes, and Kent's out there trying to help ARCS, and we have a huge update to the rule book. We have for 2024, it's going to be great. There's no loopholes. There's nothing that a driver can say, well, the rule book doesn't say this or the rule book doesn't say that. I mean, we've had all of our admins go through it. Ignition will be, kind of adapting a form of that to implement for next year. So there's going to be a big update and change to the rules that I think everybody will be really excited about. At least I am. So we'll see how that works out. But anyway,
As much as Kent and I have not always seen eye to eye, I do miss him as the Iron Sky on Fridays, because this whole situation would have been avoided had we had race control. So
yeah,
I do applaud Kent. Him and I go to bat sometimes, but I know that he's still someone that I can turn to for an unbiased opinion, and I did that at Pocono. So
yeah, and look, and again, I talked to Thomas Andrews about this earlier. About series and how we run things, and we talked about Tommy Withers was kind of mentioning how he wanted SNS to be fun and just go out there and just have fun, and we've talked about that in Ignition. We just want to go out there and have fun, but and I've even mentioned it with A Squared, but I'm sorry, fellas, but Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, you're a fucking fool if you think that we're out here racing for fun. Shit ain't happening. I mean, TNT, Ignition, SNS, and A Squared, we are not running for fun. We are competitive. Monday nights, yes, Monday nights are fun. We have ARCS Extreme. We have only short track series with Jack Mulkey and Steven Oberstadt. We got Tuesdays that will be starting up with ARCS Extreme Dirt. Those 2 nights, that's fun. Those are fun nights. Yeah, those are your beer drinking nights. You come out, you have fun with your friends. But Thursday, TNT, Friday, Ignition, Saturday with SNS, Sunday with A Squared, it don't matter how many times I say, oh yeah, A Squared, we're just going to have fun. You're a fucking fool. We're not.
It just ramps up as the week goes on.
We're not having. I mean, yes, some of us do have fun, but we're not showing up Thursday night for Thursday Night Thunder and just to have fun. We're not showing up for Saturday Night Showdown just to have fun. We're showing up to fucking win.
Yeah.
And when you don't win, there's immediately in your brain, in every human brain, you go, why didn't I win? What can I blame it on? Who can I blame it on? And most of the time it's, oh, I'm going to blame this driver because they wrecked me, which is, legitimate. And then sometimes you go, well, no driver wrecked me, so what can I blame it on now? And that's where that rule book is so important, because if you don't have that rule book, guess where drivers point to? Well, it was this fucking rule right here why I didn't win. And, you know, that again, I'm talking from the heart. So
The races on Friday night with Ignition have been fun. It's the way that shit unnecessarily boils over post race to where stuff is still going on 12, 24 hours later. That's where the fun gets taken out of it.
yeah,
That's where I've gotten to Ryan's level that saying, fuck it, this is closing up, I'm done, enough of this bullshit. But at the end of the day, the racing is why I keep doing this.
Well,
I've been there.
I mean-
I've been there a couple times. I really have. I mean, I even left the Discord, as y'all know. I left for a week, and I was, because I made a rule, and it was a dumb rule. It was. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was a stupid rule, but we had people that were getting away with shit that just absolutely fucking pissed everybody off. So I made a rule, and then everybody got pissed off again, and I'm like, well, fuck then. Like, y'all fucking go run this shit without me, and then maybe y'all will have fun, I mean, so that's, we never really talked about why I left, but that's one of the reasons why I left. I trying to make the series better, and trying to, people were complaining, well, so-and-so was already always wrecking so-and-so, or always wrecking everybody, or always, there should be a penalty for so-and-so. Well, then I come up with this thing, well, this is dumb as shit. Well, fuck then. What the fuck do you want me to do? I mean, Jesus Christ.
As a driver's
Tommy
point of
Reynolds
view,
would get a penalty every week if that was
as a driver's point of view, that
Bad.
shit was fucking awful. And I had said it,
It
and
was stupid.
I had said it in the chat for the fucking admins. I said, do not put this shit in any series because it is a issue waiting to happen. And you fucking went and put it in. And it caused a fucking issue.
I did it, and it just gave me a good reason to leave, honestly. So I was happy to
Ryan
leave.
drunk at an airport. Hey, let's see what you fuckers do with this.
I was. My flight got delayed. I had 3 extra beers, and I just left. I was just like, well, fuck it. I can fucking run it.
And then I was a dumbass, just blindly referencing, hey, we're going to adapt something like this. And
Oh my god, Smeal blew it up even more.
It went to fucking hell, and it's just, I
shouldn't have done
did
that.
not.
Yeah.
You
Don't
know,
always
so-
follow me. It's not a great path to go down sometimes.
But
It's the equivalent of me following you into the wall.
yeah, exactly.
But- at the end of the day, right? Okay, so whether you crash or burn your fucking series or not, okay? If Ryan, you run A squared, Smeal, you run Ignition, I'm over the OP, okay? Always hang your hat on what you think. Like here, the issue that a lot of people run into is that you worry about what every single fucking person is gonna fucking think.
Yeah.
Right? So whether I agree with the decisions of the penalties or not, it doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what Ryan thinks. It doesn't matter what Aiden thinks or what anybody thinks. I'm just representing Aiden because I looked over and he's in the chat. So it doesn't matter because it's not their show. All right? It's your show. You make a decision. You stick with the decision. And if people have a big enough fucking problem with it, if it's really going to burn their asses that much, they can just leave. Okay? This isn't a job. They're not getting paid. They pay for this service to be able to do this, right? So like the biggest issue that I see from so many fucking people is that they're dragging shit out for hours and hours and days that absolutely means jack shit. Y'all just act like a bunch of babies. I get being pissed off like right at the instance of it. Like, yeah, I'd be pissed too. Okay, I get it. Going to the holler and stuff like that. But the shit that drags on for 2 or 3 days, shut the fuck up. It's stupid as hell. And everyone's tired of hearing about it. But like the decisions made on everything that's happened, like with Ignition tonight and shit in the past, Ryan shits on himself so we can shit on him. Okay, about that that bullshit rule. Okay, but like penalties tonight in Ignition. I can sit here and you can agree with me. You heard me say we should probably just let it go, right?
Yeah.
You asked opinions, and but the at the end of the day, it's your show, it's your opinion, it's how you want to set a president, how you want it to go move forward, and I respect it, and that's how it should be. And it's just it is what it is, okay? And people can complain until they're blue in the face. No matter what you decided tonight, you had somebody on one side pissed off. So
Felt like Ryan after Richmond. It didn't matter what the hell I did. Someone's pissed off. So
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, you know,
yes, I penalized him, but I also penalized myself. So
yeah,
did it?
and
did
I
it
get
really
that.
do
But
anything?
in the moment, as a driver, you're gonna be pissed off. I mean, it is what it is, and you know, uh, the at the end of the day, and the one thing that I worry about more than anything, I talked to Thomas Andrews and a couple other in Bandit about this, and I'll say it here too. At the end of the day, like for Sunday, I am constantly worried about making a call that is not that doesn't follow the rules or doesn't follow the what we've done in the past, especially if it benefits me, because then immediately people are after my ass because they're oh, well, you threw this, you did this, or you threw this caution, or you did that, or you did this, you cleared this black flag but you didn't clear that. I mean, it is all I think about on Sundays when I'm in a race is, okay, and of course I've read the A squared rule book. Hell, I fucking wrote the damn thing. I mean, I know it from front to back on my hand. And but still I'm worried. Okay, well, if I throw this caution here because they said it was 2, but it was actually only 1, and I'm 1 lap down, or I'm lucky dog, or they're going to say, well, you threw that caution and that's unfortunately the life that I live on every Sunday night, and most every night that I'm in a session where I have, admin privileges as well as any other admin in ARCs. You have to think, how, if I make this call, what, am I following my rule book? And if I am, then perfect. If I'm not, what kind of backlash am I going to get? And is it the right call? And you have to make that call within seconds of that instance happening. And I don't think very many people understand how difficult that is. I know I do personally. I know Smeal has dealt with it. I know Reynolds has dealt with it with the endurance stuff. Seth has helped me make those calls before. Feemster has made those calls in OAP. It is not easy to make that split second decision of, I got to do this now, otherwise things are going to get really bad really fast. And unfortunately, sometimes we make that decision and it's the wrong call. But I'll get away from that. So
Well, the thing is, kind of the way that I look at this is, like we were just talking before we started this. I said, oh, Noah got a penalty for being pushed whenever he ran out of fuel. And you were like, he shouldn't have got that. And I was like, well, if it's in the rule book, I mean, why not? I mean, I get it, it happens, but if you put it down as a rule, why not enforce that and then rectify it, next season if that's not a good rule? Like, I get it, but at the same time, if it's there, people are going to say, hey, that's there, so you can't do that.
Yeah,
And he got a penalty. It is what it is. But I agree that he should have got one. If it's
Here's
in the
how
rule
I-
book that you can't do that,
Because the
you
question
shouldn't
is
be able to have
then, since Gaiman came in and did show that it is against NASCAR's rule about pushing to assist the driver in saving fuel or maintaining caution pace while saving fuel on the racetrack. Like, I was told that wasn't a NASCAR rule, so I backed off on that. So that's clearly a NASCAR rule, so that clearly puts the two in a position of violating that rule as well. Am I going to go back and change anything? No, it is what it is. It's done. It's over with. But
right.
you know, I backed down because I took the assumption that I was incorrect in thinking that was a rule. But you know, somebody has. I feel like probably the only person that has backed what I've done tonight. But it's in there. I mean, we put the clause in after the prior situation with fuel and stage break that we follow NASCAR guidelines. So it's
when it comes to this, from an admin side, at least for me, is I feel like I'm an admin that usually tries to play both sides of the fence and tries to hear everybody's perspective. At the end of the day, at least for me, like I want to hear what my drivers have to say. Like I said, when I put a feeler in the Discord, and like it was the other day, which we can get into another time too. But
That blew up.
I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear everybody's opinions, even though there was an overwhelming majority. You want to hear everybody's opinions on it. At least that's how I am. But when asking for a driver's opinion, I do agree. After 2 or 3 days of bitching, it's probably time to fucking stop because that mentally wears on admins. To a point to where it just makes it not fun anymore. Like I get it within the night or within the moment if you're and most people in ARCs are really, really good about this, but like the continued 2 or 3 days afterward of just nonstop in the Discord sometimes, and all I think everybody in here is probably guilty of it at one point or another. I know I am. It just it wears on a human being to have to keep on, answering to that and going through that. And at the end of the day, I feel like we set up and Ryan made that chain of command chart for a reason. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it as a driver, but eventually, and trust me, we as admins know when other admins in here need help, and we have those conversations behind the scenes, and we know that sometimes other admins are going to struggle and stuff like that. And most of us behind the scenes are willing to admit when we struggle or make a bad call. I mean, we really are. And most reach out for help more than one would know. But I think at the end of the day, whoever is the head admin of that series, whenever they make a call, like yes, it could be questioned, but only to a certain extent to where it's like, okay, at the end of the day, this call was made. I can still think it's bullshit, but how much is too much of expressing that? Because do we take this seriously and pay a lot of money to do this? Yes. But like how much is it really worth staying up all night and then 2 to 3 days after bitching about something that's probably not going to change anyway? I'm kind of with theme where it's like, we want everybody in arts and we want you to be here, but like if you're constantly the one, I don't know, like you don't have to run the series if you don't want to, if you dislike it that much. Not that you're not allowed to have an opinion. And hell, I've bitched and moans at calls for nights too. And like I said, most everybody in here is really good about it. And most of us in here are guilty about doing that for a night. But the next day, you know what? You can text that admin privately in the DMs that you're supposed to and be like, hey, you know what? You're an asshole, but love you. I'll see you next Friday. Like, or see you tomorrow when we race each other type of thing. But
Yeah.
I don't agree. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. You can think the call's total bullshit. And you can express that to an extent. And then it's time to stop.
There needs to be a 12-hour rule. 12 hours after the end of the race, move on.
No,
If it's
but
even that long.
there's a point where you kind of just need to hang it up and fucking call it quits. I don't think there needs to be a rule, but that's the last thing there's
Well,
need is more fucking
Bite the
rules.
bullet.
But
Bite the fucking bullet.
just
Take it.
just
Take,
shut up and
yep. Take
move
the ass
on with your
kicking and
fucking
move
day.
on. Yep.
Well, I mean,
Regardless if
hell,
you're right, wrong, or what, just fucking shut up and move on.
like I got penalized at Pocono in the ignition for getting into the 48,
Yeah.
and I didn't agree with it. Actually, I thought it was horseshit because I watched the replay. I was like, "There's no way." But then again, guess what? My points didn't matter. I was just there as a part-time, like, "Hey, what's up?" And I apologized to him for getting into him, but I didn't think that it was my fault. He agreed. I still got penalized. I didn't say a fucking word about it. Not a big deal to me. I mean, it's like, okay, well, it is what it is. Time to go on to Sunday. And, you know,
It's,
I guess
mean,
it's just how you look at it.
yeah, I mean, I agree that drivers, obviously, drivers are what makes our series. Every series that we run every single night, Monday through Sunday, drivers are what makes our series. So if drivers have concerns and they have issues and they have complaints, and I told this to Aiden face to face, well, not face to face because we were on Discord, but you know what I mean, voice to voice. I told him, I said, look, dude, I want everyone in this Discord to ream me if a rule is not followed, if a, you know, and again, you know, we all talk about the rule that I made that was dumb, you know, I want people, and again, I didn't handle that well because I was going out of town and I didn't really care anymore because, you know, I was going out of town, so I was like, yeah, fuck all y'all, I'm leaving. But I want that. That is what I want for every series in ARCs. I want drivers to say, hey, this series, this rule here, or this rule there, or this policy here, or this whatever, come to us and say, this is dumb, this is bullshit, this is stupid. And we can talk between admins. We have an admin chat. And all of the admins and ARCs are in that chat, other than Tristan because he left. But we won't talk about that. But
Yeah, we won't go there.
you know, we want to make every series better, and to make it better, we have to have drivers say, "Hey, this is dumb. This is stupid. This is just ridiculous." And sometimes we may agree with the drivers, sometimes we may disagree with the drivers, and sometimes as admins we have to come together, or sometimes as admins we say, hey, you fucked up, bud, you know, you gotta fix it. But it's, again, it's, you know, we are always trying to make every series better. We are trying to make Monday nights better. We're trying to make Tuesday nights better. We're trying to make TNT better. We're trying to make Ignition better. SNS, A squared, all of them. We are trying to make them better every single day. And the only way that we make them better is with drivers saying, hey, this is not fair. This is a dumb rule, or this is, you know, look at this rule, or look at that. And, you know, from my point of view, obviously, yes, I don't want it to drag on 2-3 days. No, you know, send me a message. If it's something Sunday night that is not being done correctly, or it's not going well, send me that message. Say, hey, this rule here makes no sense. Why do we have this rule, or why do we do this, or why do we have to follow this? Or if there's not a rule, say, well, I did this and it's not in the rule book. That's how we get better. Is the drivers, the admins? Yes, we do the best we can to make a a rule book and to give everyone a playbook on what exactly is allowed.
How I'm sorry
But
to interrupt.
go ahead,
How
go ahead.
how how is the rule book made? So just out of curiosity, is there a template? Are you guys making these rules as you go? What is how do you start doing that?
So A Squared's had a rule book. Well, Arcs has had a generic rule book for years, for a couple years, and it is exactly that. It's very generic. We have strongly what's the word? We have asked that the admins of other series, especially the serious type series, um, write their own rule book to be specific of, because obviously like TNT, doesn't have stages. A Squared has stages, heats. Ignition doesn't have heats but has one stage. SNS does whatever the hell they want to do. We've asked them to write their own rule book because that is the best way to cover your own series. Because the generic ARCS rulebook is, don't wreck anyone. Here's when our times start. Make sure you're in the right car. Here's how we qualify. Here's how we race. Here's when we race, and that's it. There's not much else to it. Race each other with respect. If you manipulate a race, like if you pull over and let somebody else win, you're gonna get booted out of ARCS. Just typical generic stuff. And it doesn't cover, what is a caution to SNS versus what is a caution to A Squared. What is a stage break to SNS versus what is a stage break to A Squared. It is very, very different between our top four, what I would say, our top four series, TNT, Ignition, SNS, and A Squared. Obviously, Monday and Tuesday, those are very important series. I'm not saying that they're any less important to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Sunday, but Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is when people are coming out to. They're not coming out to hang out and shoot the shit. They're coming out to fucking win and compete. And
Right.
those series need their own rule books, which we have pushed in the admin chat. And that's where A Squared has had I would say a lackluster rule book, and that's where 2024 comes into place, where we will have a very, very solid rule book. We are pushing TNT and SNS and Ignition to have the same, and that way there are no questions. If you run that series and you don't read the rule book, well, that's on you. You didn't read the rule book, you don't know the rules, so obviously you're not going to know when you're going to get penalized for certain things because you didn't read the rule book. But the rule books for 2024, I think, at least for A Squared, and I know Smeal's going to kind of take up that and modify it for Ignition, and then we hope that TNT and SNS does the same so that every driver can read that rule book and know 100% what is a penalty, what is a caution, what is not allowed, what is allowed, and it kind of goes from there. So
Yeah, I was just genuinely curious. I mean, I I'm not in the admin team, so I don't know any of this information. But I had wondered, because it seems like, Ignition kind of piggybacks off of A Squared. It seems like
mhm.
a little bit with the rules, and then some of the other series have their own rules. So I wondered if it was from scratch, or if you all had like a template per se of rules that you were like, hey, you have to at least have this.
I feel like a lot of it was putting stuff on paper that up to this point, we've just kind of gone off of common knowledge. Like there's certain things that yes, we do this to an extent mimic NASCAR. There's certain things that up to this point we hadn't felt like needed to be black and white in paper, but now we're getting there to avoid situations that we've run into this week. Um, you know, like Ryan's saying about the 24A squared rulebook, it definitely closes out the loopholes.
Yeah, actually, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but
You're
I
good.
saw in the chat where Aiden said, "Is it going to be Aiden proof?" Actually, no shit, Aiden, and I'm not calling you out for this. This is a positive for you. Me and Kent went over it like 3 times, and the statement we made is this has got to be Aiden proof, and I'm not lying to you. That is exactly what we said, and that's a good thing. Trust me, that's not a bad thing at all, because that is what we want. We don't want anyone to come in and say, well, this rule is a little sketchy. No, it's locked in tight so
It's
that
banned.
yeah, well, yeah, I ain't gonna say that, but yeah, I mean, it's locked in tight to where no driver can read it and go, well, you didn't say anything about this or you didn't say anything about that. So, yes, 2024, it will absolutely be Aiden proof, and that's exactly what we want. I mean, in a rule book, that is, we've really kind of, I feel like, fallen short there, because we have, I mean, let's be honest. 2 years ago, we were running NASCAR Heat. You didn't need a fucking rule book. It was NASCAR Heat.
You
I
can only
mean,
take it so seriously.
yeah. I mean, it was a fucking video game. So yes, 2024 will be much better. At least I can't speak for TNT does a great job. They really don't have many issues. SNS has their problems, but they're working on them. I can't speak for those two leagues. Obviously, Smills, I can't speak for him either. But A squared will be Aiden proof in 2024, guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, it's as much as a lot of people find Aiden aggravating, or someone someone that's
Yeah.
irritating in chat. Um, you a league kind of needs people like him, because he's going to point out things that no one saw.
Yeah.
And
He's got the balls to do it too.
right, and I don't look down on him for it. I mean, hell, he knows what he's talking about, and he will fight to the death on what he knows. And
For sure.
hey, like you said, there needs to be people like him to they only make the series better.
That's true, but there's a point where, like Seth said earlier about having the chain of commands, then we need to follow those. Bring this stuff up in an appropriate environment where you're
Yeah.
not just blasting something in a general chat. We have that hierarchy for a reason. Things need to be taken to the admin directly. That way it can be discussed without everybody else throwing their 2 cents in. And if it's something that needs to be opened up to discussion for the series, the league, then they do that. But it's I don't think there's anything that Aiden has brought up specific to Ignition that I haven't addressed. Do I like the way he goes about it? No. But do I take everything that he says into consideration? Absolutely. So there are many of us that just wish that the guidelines that we had, the whole ARCS wide meeting a couple months ago, for that everyone seems to have forgotten about. Is where it gets frustrating, where things carry out, things get blown out of proportion.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
noticed there's a very short memory span. People seem to forget what happened yesterday or the day before or last week.
Yeah.
It could
So,
be a little shorter,
Well,
Forget
I mean,
what happened 3 hours ago at Ignition.
I mean, we'll talk about what Moldy said. I mean, Moldy said, I say that, and then you mock him when he brings something up. Well, yes, I do, absolutely, because it is, this is something that I have built 3 years ago from the ground up, So do I get defensive about it sometimes? Absolutely. And everyone would. Anyone that built something from the ground up to have, an average of 25 drivers on a Sunday night competing with the, Cup Series, yeah, I'm going to get defensive about it sometimes. Does that mean that I discredit what he says? No, absolutely not. And and again, am I a perfect human being? No, not even close. I am never said that I'm a perfect human being. I am not. I do discredit sometimes. I get defensive in the chat, but you guys have got to understand where I come from. I built this thing from the ground up 3 years ago to what it is now. And again, I'm not saying that it's right, but yes, I will be defensive sometimes when someone brings something up, but it doesn't mean I discredit what he says. Again, I have been in a bad place, as everyone has been before. Um, and sometimes I do react in a negative way. I feel like everyone has reacted to things in a negative way at some point, in their life. But at the end of the day, I do take constructive criticism fairly well. I mean, yes, there's times where I don't, and again, that's on me. That has nothing to do with any drivers or any members in ARCS. I want people to bring things up, but will I get defensive about them? Sometimes, yeah. It's my baby that I've brought from nothing up to what it is now on iRacing, and again, we all as admins and league owners, as our individual leagues, we're trying to make everything perfect. We're trying to make everyone happy, and it's just not going to happen. You're going to make comments and you're going to make calls that are going to make people unhappy. But regardless, you know, I just want everyone to know that yes, I may get defensive sometimes, and I may act, out of character for myself, but it's because of the work that I've put into it, and trying to make it better and trying to make it the best that it can be. Yeah, sometimes I won't agree with what drivers say, but I'm still going to listen to them, regardless. So, anyway, Moldy, fuck off.
Well, Fiend,
Yeah.
over there yawning. Look at you. Come on now. It's
Yeah,
only one.
it's only 1 a.m. We haven't even
Right.
got to the question and the Q&A yet.
Right.
I'm on my come down right now. All right,
That's what I was
so
getting ready to ask you. Like, hey, Fiend,
Have
did you
another
want to do
beer,
the
you'll be all
Q&A? Like,
Yeah.
what do you want to do?
Get you another drink. You'll be all right.
yeah, yeah. Let's open it up for Q&A here. Give us a few minutes. Throw us some questions, and then we're probably gonna wrap it up after that. So yeah, throw up some questions. I will, while people are getting some time to type in these questions, we'll go over some announcements, some things that may be coming up in the future. First off, we do have a big weekend ahead of us here. The Saturday, tomorrow, season finale for OAP at Homestead is up, and then we kick off the season for SNS at Daytona tomorrow night in the trucks. Then A Squared should be a pretty good race at Michigan. Car's a little squirrely to begin with, but it is a lot of fun to race it there on that iRacing setup.
It's gonna
Yeah.
be a badass race. On
Yeah,
Sunday.
it's gonna be fun.
I'm
It's gonna be a
calling.
horrible race. It's gonna be a shit show. I'm calling it now.
Tommy Reynolds is gonna get his ass kicked, and it's gonna be glorious.
Seth, I would honestly, I think I would rather lose to David Wright again than have you finish in front of me.
Oh, shots fired. All right.
Ooh, so
Tough.
first question is from Matthew Kent. Any news on Jingle Jam updates?
Yeah, we're still doing it. It'll be December 18th, I believe. I gotta look at a calendar, but December 18th, it'll be our third annual Jingle Jam. Really haven't started doing a whole lot of promoting yet. Probably wait till like mid to late August. We'll have September, October, November, so we'll have like 3 months there where we'll really push that. For anyone
You have a
that
track
does,
picked out or anything?
it'll be trucks. Don't have a track picked out yet, but it will be the Craftsman Truck Series. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, everybody donates. Pretty much, you have like a $10 entry fee, and then you can donate whatever you want to donate. And we've raised almost, I think we raised like $1,400 the first year and like $1,800 the second year for Toys for Tots. So hoping to beat that this year. Hoping to maybe get to $2,000 this year for Toys for Tots. So that'll be a lot of fun. And so yeah, it is definitely on, and definitely planned for December. It'll be a lot of fun. So just again, I just got 2 quick things, and then we'll get back to anybody that has a question, which is Seth, who actually asked a question, so he's in here. So I don't. But anyway, so first thing is to Aiden, with his comment. I agree completely. He said, that when he brings up concerns to other admins, they don't they don't ask him to leave ARCs or anything like that. Sorry, I'll get my voice right here in a second, but respect goes both ways. I agree completely. And again, I have owned up to, me not being a perfect human. And sometimes I make statements that shouldn't be said, especially as an ARCS owner. But again, put yourself in my shoes with all the shit that I have to deal with on a daily basis, not a weekly basis, but a daily basis. Every series, every night, it can get to you. I'm sure that everyone understands, or at least some people understand. But yeah, it's not okay for some of the things that I say, but it happens sometimes, and for that I do apologize. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not a perfect human. All I want is for everyone to race ARCs and have a good time. It, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. But I do agree that me personally, I got to do a better job of being an owner and not getting so personal about things. The second thing, we got to talk about the setups real quick. We're not going to get too big into detail, as hopefully some other questions come in here. But yeah, the setups, we're running iRacing setups for the rest of the year. I hate it, but we have been put in this situation by someone in the Discord, which I don't know, or maybe I do know, and I just don't want to tell y'all. But yeah, so we are not running any custom setups anymore. We're running stock iRacing setups for the rest of the year, and it is what it is, and y'all can deal with it. So sorry, but some of our quote friends may or may not have turned us in. So we will be running iRacing setups for the rest of the year. So if you have any complaints, please talk to whoever it was that turned us in, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
I like
Oh.
that question from Seth.
I threw a
So
bunch of them. Let's have a
So
comment.
Reynolds, who is your favorite ARCS driver?
Damn, personal.
I don't think you can
I-
say yourself.
Is this restrained to any series or just arcs in general?
Arcs
Well,
in general.
Yeah, I think it says ARCS in general.
Man, I like a lot of you guys, so this is fucking hard.
If you don't say Ryan Pennell, you get fired.
Yeah, you're gone.
Absolutely.
Booted from the
Damn.
server.
I really don't know. I like a lot of you guys, so this is fucking hard. Mm,
It's an
I don't
easy
know.
answer for me.
Out of everybody to race against, or like personality wise?
Race against.
Mm,
Or both. You can say both.
when we're not wrecking each other, I think it has to be Michelle Daniel because every
Ryan,
time
what's your take?
Didn't see that coming.
because even though we've had some issues, we've always been close, and when we're close, the racing between us is tight. That's my number one thing, and it's not egregious rubbing, but like we're able to beat on each other and like race. You know what I mean? It's not like
Focus.
crazy beating off the wall shit. So
I thought that was going somewhere else for a second.
yeah, no, not that kind of. But yeah, no, he's I enjoy racing him.
Seth's got another good question. Which A square driver is next to win that hasn't?
I hope me.
Well, yeah, me too, bud.
Or himself.
In the win.
It's definitely gonna be Emma. I can 100% say that.
Yeah, she'll
And
be-
I called
It'd
it.
be Emma.
I think I might have called it last podcast or something like that. I said, or maybe I was talking to somebody, but I said Purnell had a good chance at Richmond to win and put his way into the playoffs. And he probably would have won if David Wright didn't knock his shit out of the way, but
Fair
yeah.
enough.
So.
Yeah, I would have to say Emma with road
Yeah.
courses coming up. I think I guarantee you I'm wrecking everybody in front of me at Daytona. So y'all put me up there for Daytona because I'm wrecking
Put
the
me
whole field.
you put me in
Hey,
the playoff
I've been
position.
hired to
I'm
push the
yeah.
27 to a win, so
I ain't
Who do
pushing
Who
nobody.
do y'all think? Who do y'all think wins in Michigan?
Me.
Fuck out of here, Rounds.
as long as you don't race like you did tonight, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
At Michigan, you're gonna have to say Michigan. You gotta save tires. Who's good at saving tires? It ain't gonna be Daniel Michelle. He's not good at saving tires. He
I
always
don't know.
quick as shit and they fall off.
He won Auto Club.
I
Well,
don't
he
know.
did win Auto Club.
Like people forget, me and Daniel led like almost every lap, but like 2 at Auto Club.
No.
I'm pretty sure we led like the same amount of laps. It was like 40 and 40, something like
You
that.
what? You watch Jacket's gonna win on Sunday.
hmm
I'd be happy with that.
I was getting ready to say that. I was like, I think
I just got this gut
want,
feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want Emma to win because I feel like she has a good shot. But what about Ray? I mean, you guys are kind of sleeping on him. Like, yeah, dude, he's
I'm
fast.
not. I'm the one that brought him back.
Goddamn, Jacket fucking wins. Fuck the playoffs, man.
Right.
I'm just gonna retire.
Turns everything on
Brilliant.
its head.
I don't even want to be at
Last-
Daytona with that.
Cody won it last year.
Yeah. Kent had a good question too. Who do y'all believe is on a hot seat for A squared roster change coming up?
Me.
I don't even think we need to say this one. And I think Ryan knows who it is.
Is
Do
it
I?
on someone on Ryan's team?
No.
It's literally half of Ryan's team.
Feemster's,
Well, I think everybody. I'm
Feemster's
surprised
about
that
to
Ryan.
have to find him another co-host for this podcast because he's gonna boot me out of here after I replace him.
Well,
No,
yeah,
I don't
I don't
know.
know. I
Right
think,
in the middle of a playoff push, this motherfucker's
Well-
like, I don't even want to take the chance of you passing me.
Look,
I'm just gonna
I-
kick you off the goddamn team.
I will say before the setup shit happened, I was planning on making a change. After the setup thing happened, Presidential Racing will not be changing any drivers in their stable.
Wow, that is a bold statement.
Mm.
There are some solid dudes that
I
are.
don't think
Who can we
making
trust
any
to bring in
changes.
here right now?
Don't care. Don't care who they are.
Wow.
I don't trust anyone. I don't trust 70% of arcs anymore. I don't trust nope. I'm not bringing anyone new into my team. It will stay exactly the same till the end of the year, and if we finish 5th in points, we finish 5th in points. I don't care.
Well, I mean, I feel like Prophecy, they need to make some big changes. I mean,
They have to replace one. Yeah.
and now they've got one in the playoffs. Yeah.
They got
I mean,
two. Withers had that win at Vegas.
oh yeah.
Well, D-Bucks is out.
three. They
D-Bucks
got
is out.
3 technically, but D-Bucks is out because David Wright won too, and he's on Prophecy. So they had 3
Is
of their
he actually?
yeah, they had 3 of their 4 drivers have won a race, but Dustin is backing out, so they'll only have Withers and David Wright, and then
I
their
know
4th
that.
driver is Dirt, which his schedule won't let him race anymore. So yeah, they have had 3 of their 4 drivers technically qualify for the playoffs.
I will say that Sunday Money Racing will not be making any changes for the remainder of the season, unless
is going to dump me. I'm going to be out.
Well, if Brandon Fetter places on the block, then
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's a question because me and Fetter Place aren't team owners. This is basically Ryan and Seth. If you had to choose either me or Fetter Place, who would you pick?
I don't want either one of y'all.
Yeah.
Play shows up more
I'm
consistently.
just being honest. I'm not changing my team. So
Well, no, I know, but
if I had to change my team, I pick Fetter Place.
Because fuck you, Reynolds.
Well, Fetter Place hasn't been suspended for a race, so
That's true.
Not yet. There's still time.
Yes.
there is time. Yes, absolutely, but
that's almost an impossible choice. But if I had to pick one, man, that's a really hard choice.
Just
Let
make it
me
unanimous.
flip a
That's all you
coin.
heads or tails? Heads Fetter
Me-
Place, tails Reynolds.
They're both fast at every single track we go to. They're both almost a guaranteed top 3 wherever they go.
Yeah. I will say Reynolds is a better choice this year than last year because last year he was just a typical quiet. He would wreck and then leave the race. He's done much better this year of sticking
I have
around.
both, or do I have to pick one?
Hurry up and pick something. I'm ready to go to bed. Y'all fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, Seth, you've already changed your team fucking 16 times, so.
I really haven't. I changed it twice.
I wish I could
Okay.
get an insight on Beach Run, but Jeremy has been.
Yeah, Jeremy
Avid.
quit.
Yeah,
What's
I'm
wrong
a-
with me making roster moves? I've made 2.
I'm going to be really surprised if no one makes a change because there are people like Proudfoot. You've got Millet. You've got, I mean, a lot of people that are.
okay.
But
Well,
if
be
Millet is
solid.
available, I wouldn't be mad at Ryan for fucking kicking me off the team and picking up
He-
Millet.
he
I would
said-
understand it.
I would be happy because then that's one less guy that
He
wins every.
said
freaking
in the
week.
broadcast tonight when I talked to him that his Sunday stuff is ending soon and he would be available. So
The Can-Am series over in
yeah,
No Bull, I think is coming to
Yeah,
a close.
it's coming to an end. So
And I really enjoy racing against Millet. I think, he pushes me to be better, and I love that type of shit. I mean, that makes me, whenever I race against people who make me better, especially people that are faster than me, oh, dude, I enjoy the shit out of it.
that's
So,
what I told
mean,
Millet too in his interview tonight. I was like, dude, I'd love to have you on Sunday nights because the faster the better. It helps me
Yep.
get better.
Who do y'all
What-
think is going to be the final four this year?
Ooh,
Or-
Final Four. Reynolds, Fetter Place,
Michelle Gaiman.
Michelle Gaiman. Yeah.
I would say Jeremy if he starts to show up again.
He said he is.
I don't think Jeremy's gonna make it this year.
Okay, so that's too easy. That's too easy. That's
I
your
keep-
top four
I
right
keep
there.
being told that no line power is going to make it in the top 4.
I said Fetter
Okay.
Place.
They picked you.
Here's,
No,
here's
no. I'm saying before this. Before this, I've been getting told for at
Oh.
least the past 6 races that there is evidently some sort of where y'all are guessing who's making the final 4.
Okay,
and,
I'm changing my
No
Final
line
Four.
powers in there.
That's Carmen's AI bot. That don't count.
Hey, I'm changing my Final Four, so I'm not gonna just go off this 1, 2, 3, 4 what the standings are right now because that's stupid. Because shit can happen in the playoffs. Okay, so I'm going Fetter Place is in, Reynolds is in, and then I'm gonna do Austin Purnell.
oh,
Okay,
Wow.
there's technical tracks that are gonna be in that first part of that playoffs that Purnell can win.
If
Okay.
Purnell makes a round of 8 to Martinsville,
It's over.
it's
he,
fucked.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you can throw that wild card in there. If he makes it into round of 8 and we get to Martinsville, there's his win to get in the Final Four. And then I think I'm gonna go with Seth is your Final Four to end the season. Going into Phoenix.
I struggle with mine. I was thinking about it. I struggle with mine. I'd like to say that I make it, but man, I don't know. There's a lot of tough drivers out here. I don't. If me and let's just hypothetically, okay, Reynolds and I make it. Gaiman, I struggle with Gaiman. Gaiman is fast, and he is super fast, but he has wrecked out of a lot of races.
He's got shit for luck.
and it makes me wonder if whenever the time comes, is he going to be where he needs to be, or is he going to be wrecked out? Austin is pretty fast. Tom Sears is pretty fast. Wanzi. I think I would go me, Reynolds, Sears, and let's do Ryan Pinnell. I bet you Ryan makes it in. He's going to win a race.
So
Shot
you're
to field.
choosing the
You
guy
high,
that's
you high as hell. You high as a motherfucker. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, I'd love to
look
make it
at
to the top 4, but hell, I'm trying to still make it into the fucking playoffs right now.
Just trying to make the top 16.
I think he's reverse psychology in everybody. He's just like, oh, I suck. I'm not going to do it. He's going to bust out a win in Daytona. He's going to bust out another win in the playoffs. And he's going to go
Max
on a tear.
Verstappen finished
Well,
30 seconds in front of the field.
I'm
you've
I'm
got
ready
Darlington,
for it.
you've got Kansas, you've got Bristol.
Hey, I like all those tracks.
To get to the round of 12, who doesn't make it out of the round of 16? Those 3 tracks.
Oberstadt, Withers. I mean, you look at anybody that has and again, I'm not trying to hurt any feelings here, but
Mickey.
Fluke wins. Tommy Withers, Steven Oberstadt. Those guys are going to struggle when we get to the playoffs. I mean, I'm not fast by any means, but on a weekly basis, I outperform Oberstadt and Withers and those guys that have the Daytona, Atlanta, fuel mileage, Las Vegas wins. They're going to struggle in the playoffs, and I feel like I will struggle too, but I won't struggle as badly as those drivers will struggle. So, yeah.
You were saying about Purnell. Bristol's going to be a good one for him.
Yeah, it'll be a good race for him. It'll be a good race for. I mean, I honestly I wish it was Bristol Dirt because I would have a guaranteed top 3, but it's not. So, but I still like Bristol.
I love Bristol.
We're pick.
All right, let's wrap it up. Y'all shut up. Let's go home.
Oh,
Mhm.
hell.
I'm just joking. Get what you want to say. Go.
We'll finish up with the final four question.
Not me.
Ryan,
No, I would be interested to hear what you have to say for the final four spiel.
Yeah, you don't
Or-
race in it.
Where's been your guesses, Smeel? We haven't heard from you.
My guess. Hold on, let me pull the points back up.
Yeah. Don't worry about points. It don't matter. It resets.
Oh, I mean the playoff grid. Like,
Okay.
hold on,
Alright.
wait.
and Reynolds put his. I'll put mine.
Your mic is doo-doo, Seth. I don't know what you said.
I said
All right.
Reynolds is in after Smeal, and then you will, and then I'll go.
Okay.
I think it's definitely Reynolds. I definitely think Fetter Place makes it. Gaiman depends on his luck, but I'd still pick him to make it to the final four.
I'm telling you, Purnell, man. I'm telling you.
I still think Jeremy. If he can come back and get in the rhythm that he had last year, going into the championship race,
What is the latest word on Jeremy? Is he coming back for real?
See,
he is.
here's my thing with Jeremy. As much as I love Jeremy, he even when he was racing earlier this year, he did not have that rhythm at all.
It's kind of hard to get in a rhythm when you don't show up.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you think you're just gonna show up sunshines and daisies and just all of a sudden get in a rhythm when all of us have been racing 20, 30 races a year?
Well, maybe it's Jeremy.
It is
It is
Jeremy.
Jeremy. Crazier things have happened. I'm not saying it's a bad pick because most of those tracks Jeremy won at. So
Well, I mean, and to be fair, I mean, I think it's awesome that a lot of people think that I'm going to be in the final four, but once the playoffs start, I'm no longer in first anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
You
I
get
well,
the
you
bonus
also
points
15,
for
you get 15
regular
playoff points.
If he can win the regular season
Well,
points.
all right.
Well,
Let me say this now. I'm not racing Daytona, so he has it wrapped up. Unless I can find 60 points somewhere, it's not happening.
Well, if your dumbass wouldn't have got suspended, you could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Plus, we got 2 road courses
Well,
coming up.
I've
so.
missed 3 races or something like that. I think Fetter Place has missed 1, so I'll take it. I would have been in the points
I would-
lead. So
yeah,
have
Fetter
missed-
Place is 21 starts. You have 19.
I wish I wouldn't have missed that month because I was right there with Fetter Place and Reynolds there for a bit in points. But Ryan, what's your final four prediction?
Oh, I think I already said Fetter Place, Reynolds, Daniel Michelle, and Joshua Gaiman.
Reynolds.
I
Me-
think it's going to be
Me fifth. Sorry, had to throw that in there.
I think it's going to be a line power Sunday money showdown. I think it's going to be Fetter Place, Sears, and Michelle and Seth.
You're not going to put
Don't-
yourself in
Don't
there.
think you get to
No.
play the final four?
I don't think so.
I think he knows he's going to be missing races.
I'm not going to be missing races, but after Richmond, I don't think I'm making the.
Well,
to the
Ryan,
final four.
how many points do you get for a win? Like playoff
5.
points.
5.
So Reynolds, you have 25 points right there that carry you all the way.
Yeah, but
You're basically in the round of 12.
it's
Okay,
only
you
so
start.
far.
Yeah.
let's look at the playoff tracks for you,
I
man.
think that almost gets you, I'd say, fairly locked into the round of 8.
Darlington.
Well, there's no stack on points here, so every single person in the playoffs gets set to the same points minus the playoff points for how many wins you have. So
Right.
And stage
You don't-
wins
he's only-
and bullshit.
yeah, the stage there is no points for stage wins
Yeah,
or
not
anything.
for the current point system.
So
Well,
basically,
if you win a stage, I think it's 1 point.
not
Yeah, but not for us.
for arcs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Uh,
basically, if you have 4,000, everyone gets set to 4,000, you're at 4,025. So you're only up by 25 by the person in front of you. So it's
Well-
not actually going to carry you on as,
Fetter Place is going to have 20 then.
correct because
Oh.
if he'll win the regular
It's
season
not an
championship
if.
and
It's
the
not
and the
an
win
if.
he has. Yeah.
But if you
Not
stay
much.
second, I'm pretty sure you get another 10, isn't it?
No.
Just 15 for the top. We're changing that next year, but this year it's just 15 for regular season.
Reynolds, you think you're not winning a race after Richmond? You think your team?
I don't think I'm not winning a race, but I don't think I'm making the final four.
That's
Hey,
interesting.
I mean, at least he's honest about it. I mean, if
How many
that's how he
races?
feels, I mean, shit.
How many races are left until playoffs? We got
4. Michigan,
Michigan,
Indy Road
Indy,
Course, Watkins
Watkins
Glen, and
Glen,
Daytona.
Daytona. Okay.
Yep.
So
4.
I have 3 left, and then it's playoff time.
And if he's missing Daytona, I am absolute garbage at super speedways, so I'll end up upside down, but I'll still be there.
So I need Federer Place to do like 5 backflips at Indy Road, and then Watkins Glen he needs to like fly into the sand barrels and
It's
So
possible.
my championship 4 picks would be, I'm gonna put Reynolds in there. I'm gonna put Fetter Place in there. One name that I'm shocked I haven't heard more is Tom Sears. That dude has spun out more times than I've ever seen him in his life this year, but he's also had awesome comebacks that I don't think have been talked about enough.
Hell, I wrecked him, and he came back and won the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. I should have won that. Damn.
Kind of like gaming. Like what Smeal was saying. Tom has had shit for luck this year, and he's still coming back and getting like top 5s and top 10s out of it, which I think is super impressive. I definitely put him in over me, that's for sure. So I got Sears, Fetter Place, Reynolds, and I think, you know, a guy that Fetter Place brought up earlier that he's not in. So this will kind of be interchangeable. I think if Donald Ray gets into the playoffs, I think Donald Ray is in your final 4. Just from the consistency aspect. But if he doesn't, then give me Daniel Michelle in there. So because that Roval race is going to hit the perfect time for him, and I don't think anybody's beating him there. So
we'll see. Emma is going to be his competition.
I don't think anybody's beating him there.
We'll see.
All right. Well, let's wrap it up. This is
That's
literally
it.
the longest podcast.
Can I get one plug in real quick?
Jesus Christ. What do you want?
Just real quick.
Go ahead.
For next week for Friday night. So just so that everyone's aware, we did allow for Cup drivers to have 4 starts starting next week up until whatever races before Phoenix. We are doing the Indy Oval with a little bit longer race with the 2 stages. I welcome anybody who wants to come out and race that. I want to see
come race that then.
that Indy Oval race do well, and I want to see us have fun. I mean, we've all been calling for the Oval for a while. If we could at least do it in Ignition and have some fun with it,
Hold my beer and watch this. It's gonna be awesome.
If you run out of fuel, don't push each other. You understand?
Yeah, did you say that
That's a
was Indy?
long, narrow pit road.
You
Okay?
better be careful with that. You're gonna open a can of
But that's it. I just wanted to plug that. I want to try and get as many cars as we can because I think it's going to be a fun event.
Did you say that was in Indy Oval?
Yeah, that's next
Yeah,
week,
sure.
next Friday.
We
7 days. Well,
Make
6 days because technically
in here.
Saturday. 6
Yeah,
days.
we ran the podcast all into Saturday. Congratulations,
Make-
yo.
Bring it back in here.
Yeah, ridiculous. All right, let's close this shit out, Fame.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you everyone who's in the chat. Everyone who's listening later on the podcast, if I even get it out. I want to thank everyone that came in here. Brandon Fetter Place, Smeal, Seth Wanson, Tommy Reynolds. Thanks for joining me and Ryan. And hope to see y'all back. Announcement. One thing. there are some things in works for a podcast in the future that is going to be affiliated with Unfiltered Dirty Air. But it's going to be like an outside, how other leagues, like we're going to be talking to other people from other leagues and like how their leagues are and intertwined and everything. Just get like, a look around, of drivers that are in ARCs that in other leagues, and they can talk to those guys and like bring in random guests and more maybe some that you've heard of or raced with in the past. But it's in the works. I'm trying to. It'll probably be a while until we get that one up and going. But other than that, thank you for listening and get the fuck out of here. So you guys good?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
All right.